What is the Mennonite church? I'm ordained minister in the Mennonite church. The Mennonite church is a tradition that emerged from the Reformation. They were originally, historians will call them the radical reformers, radical Reformation, the Anabaptists. Later they became known as the Mennonites, eventually split off, and then you have the Amish, for example, as one strand of the Mennonite tradition. Basically, in a nutshell, the Mennonite church, or the Anabaptist church, emerged out of the Reformation in Zurich. Some disciples of Ulrich Zwingli didn't think that Zwingli was going far enough with his reforms and wanted to press even further. Zwingli resisted that. They broke away from Zwingli, and one of the main issues was baptism, that this infant baptism that they had received as their membership within the city-state of Zurich was really nothing. And so they rebaptized themselves, which gave them the name Anabaptist, which literally means rebaptizers. And because baptism and the political structure of that day were so tied with the politics of the city-state and the emerging power structures in Europe at that time, they underwent severe persecution. And so it became this somewhat independent, non-hierarchical, evangelical movement of faithfulness to the deep logic of the Reformation that became quickly persecuted, and it dispersed throughout Europe, but was a disaster for a lot of people. So the Mennonite church follows out of that tradition, and it's a tradition today that emphasizes radical discipleship, your primary loyalty to Jesus Christ, not to any nation state, the refusal of the sword or the refusal of violence, so it's committed to nonviolence. But part of that is commitment to radical acts of peacemaking and reconciliation. And so a lot of, Celestine Musakura, who was speaking here a few weeks ago, he did a lot of his reconciliation training at Eastern Mennonite University. So a lot of that work on how do we do reconciliation training has come out of the refusal of violence and the need with the refusal of violence to make peace rather than to be willing to take up arms and fight our enemies. It's how do we reconcile with them and make peace in these situations. So the Mennonite church today is actively involved all over the world in movements of reconciliation and peacemaking.